How many times have you felt like you're working hard, chasing dreams, making choices for your future? Now, what if I told you that the dreams you're chasing aren't actually yours? There's an invisible system that's been programming your desires, your ambitions, and even your definition of success, without you even realizing it. Think about it. Why do millions of young people dream of becoming influencers? Why do we feel like failures if we haven't bought a house by 30? Who decided that a 9-to-5 office job was more respectable than being a street artist? These aren't random thoughts. They're carefully planted ideas that serve a bigger system. Marx called this false consciousness. But don't let the fancy term fool you. It's simply the way powerful groups trick the rest of us into wanting things that benefit them, not us. It's like being in a giant maze where we think we're freely choosing our path, but someone else designed all the routes. Take TikTok, for example. When you see hundreds of day-in-the-life videos of corporate lawyers making $200,000 a year, living in luxury apartments, showing off their morning routines, it plants a seed. Soon you're dreaming of that life, thinking it's your dream. But who benefits when millions of young people compete for those few positions? When they take massive student loans? When they work 80-hour weeks? It's not you. The same system convinces warehouse workers that unions are bad, tells freelancers that hustling 24/7 is grinding for success, and makes teachers feel guilty for wanting higher pay. The genius of it all? We end up defending these ideas as if they were our own. We become soldiers in an army that's fighting against our own interests. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about big ideas. It shows up in the smallest details of your daily life. That anxiety you feel when you don't check your work emails on Sunday, that's not natural, that's programmed. The shame you feel for driving an older car, programmed. The urge to buy a bigger house than you need, programmed. This programming starts early. Watch any children's TV show. The successful characters almost always wear suits, live in big houses, and have corporate jobs. The losers often work in creative fields or manual labor. By age 5, kids have already absorbed these messages. By 15, they're planning their lives around them. And social media? It's like steroids for false consciousness. Every scroll fills your mind with carefully curated images of success. The right clothes, the right car, the right lifestyle. Ever noticed how influencers all seem to have the same taste, same aesthetics, same goals? That's not coincidence. It's conditioning. Marx saw this happening in factories 150 years ago. But today, it's everywhere. In your pocket, on your screen, in the ads you see, in the movies you watch, in the conversations you have. It's so pervasive that questioning it feels like questioning gravity. But here's the twist. Once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. Like taking off glasses that were showing you the world in the wrong colors. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. We're going to look at how this system really works, who it serves, and most importantly, how to break free from it. Because if you've ever felt like you're living someone else's dream, working towards goals that don't truly make you happy, or chasing a version of success that feels empty, you're not alone. And it's not your fault, but it is something you can change. If you've ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're always running on a treadmill, never getting ahead, then this video is for you. Because it's not your work ethic that's holding you back. It's a hidden mechanism that's been installed in your mind since childhood. And today we're going to expose it. Let's talk about Sarah, a 26-year-old who quit her stable job to become an entrepreneur. Why? Because every podcast, every YouTube video, every Instagram post told her that working for someone else is throwing away your potential. She maxed out her credit cards on online courses, business coaches, and premium mastermind groups. 2 years later, she's back at a corporate job, but now with $45,000 in debt. Was this really her dream? Or was she sold someone else's? Or take Michael, who's been climbing the corporate ladder for 15 years. Bigger title, bigger salary, bigger stress. He missed his kid's first steps because of a crucial meeting. He works through vacations because that's what leaders do. His blood pressure is through the roof, but he keeps pushing because that's what success looks like. Says who? This isn't just about career choices. Look at the housing market. Why do we believe that renting is throwing money away? Who convinced us that going $500,000 in debt for a starter home is being responsible? The same banks that profit from your 30-year mortgage, perhaps. The system is brilliant because it makes you think you're in control. You think you chose that expensive degree, that soul-crushing job, that oversized house. But look closer. Follow the money. Who profits from your choices when you buy that new iPhone because your perfectly good 2-year-old model feels outdated? Who wins? When you take that high-paying job you hate because it's prestigious, who benefits? When you work overtime without pay to show you're a team player, whose yacht gets bigger? Marx saw this happening with factory workers. The owners convinced them that 14-hour workdays were normal, that unions were evil, that poverty was their own fault. Today it's more subtle. Instead of factory owners with whips, we have motivational speakers telling you to rise and grind. Instead of obvious exploitation, we have hustle culture and productivity hacks. The most dangerous part? We spread these lies ourselves. We post Dodger Monday motivation quotes about working harder. We judge friends who choose less ambitious paths. We've become unpaid marketers for the very system that exploits us. Think about the term unskilled labor. Who decided that someone working in fast food is unskilled? Have you ever tried running a busy kitchen during lunch rush? Or the phrase entry-level position requiring 5 years experience? How did we let that become normal? Want to know why you feel anxious when you're not being productive? Why you feel guilty for taking a lunch break? Why you apologize for taking sick days? These aren't natural human behaviors. They're programmed responses that benefit a system that sees you as nothing more than a resource to be optimized. And education? It's not about learning anymore. It's about training compliant workers. Why else would we teach kids to ask permission to use the bathroom, to speak only when called upon, to do homework after spending 8 hours at school? We're training them for a lifetime of accepting authority, following rules, and working overtime. Let's dive into how this invisible system actually costs you. Not just money, but your life, your relationships, and even your sense of self. And these costs, they're higher than you might think. Remember that friend you used to grab coffee with every week? Now both of you are too busy hustling to meet. Those hobbies you loved? Replaced by side hustles because every hour needs to be monetized. Your relationship? Reduced to quick text because you're both grinding towards goals that keep moving further away. Let's get specific about these hidden costs. Dating apps now feel like job interviews, people listing their salaries, job titles, and ambitions before mentioning their passions or personality. When did finding love start reading like a LinkedIn profile? We're so programmed to think about market value that we're turning ourselves into products. Think about what happened during COVID. Companies called their workers heroes while fighting against hazard pay. They put up "Thank you essential workers" signs instead of raising wages. And millions of us defended this, saying that's just how business works. But who wrote these rules we're all following? Social media made it worse. Now we're all expected to be brands. Your hobbies? Better make them content. Your vacation? Not real unless it's posted. Your skills? Worthless unless they're marketable. We're turning our entire lives into products to be sold and calling it personal development. Look at how we talk about time. Time is money. Really? Who profits when you believe that every minute must be productive? When was the last time you just sat and watched the sunset without feeling guilty about wasting time? When did we start feeling bad about taking naps? The mental health cost is staggering. Anxiety isn't just in your head. It's a natural response to unnatural pressures. Depression isn't a personal failure. It's what happens when you're forced to live against your natural rhythms. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's your body screaming that something is wrong. Even our solutions are monetized. Feeling stressed? Buy a meditation app. Anxious? Get a productivity planner. Burned out? Purchase a self-care package. Notice how every solution involves spending money? That's not an accident. The environmental cost? Massive. We're told to recycle and use paper straws while 100 companies cause 71% of global emissions. But we blame ourselves for not being green enough, while corporations dump toxic waste into oceans. The system has us fighting over personal carbon footprints, while big industries lobby against environmental regulations. Relationships suffer too. How many parents miss their kids' events because of important meetings? How many couples break up because career has to come first? We're choosing fake obligations over real connections because we've been programmed to prioritize profit over people. Even sleep is commercialized. Can't sleep because you're stressed about work? Don't fix your work-life balance. Buy this premium mattress. Get this sleep tracking app. Take these supplements. Everything that should be natural and free is turned into another product to consume. The worst part? We defend this system. We call people lazy for wanting work-life balance. Label them unmotivated for choosing family over career. Call them unsuccessful for living within their means. We've become voluntary prison guards in our own prison. Let's talk about breaking free, but not in the way you might expect. This isn't about quitting your job to live in the woods or starting a revolution tomorrow. It's about something more powerful, reclaiming your mind. The first step is simple but radical. Question everything you think you want. That promotion you're chasing, do you want it, or did LinkedIn convince you it's important? That bigger house you're saving for, is it for your comfort or for impressing others? Write down your goals, then next to each one ask, who profits when I want this? But here's the key, you can't do this alone. The system keeps us isolated for a reason. Find others who see through the lies. Start small. When a coworker says they're grinding 24/7, ask them why. When friends brag about skipping vacation to work, don't praise them. Express concern. Small conversations plant seeds of awareness. Here's a practical exercise. Try a desire audit. For 1 week, every time you want to buy something, write down where that desire came from. Was it an ad, an influencer, a friend's social media? You'll be shocked to see how few of your wants are actually yours. Let's talk about real metrics for success. Instead of tracking your worth through salary, track it through time freedom. Instead of counting social media followers, count genuine friendships. Instead of measuring success by possessions, measure it by moments of genuine joy. Sounds simple? Try it for a month. It's harder than you think. Here's another tool, the future cost calculator. Before making any major life decision, calculate its cost not in money, but in life energy. That $50,000 car isn't just $50K. It's 2,000 hours of your life at 25 hours. That bigger house isn't just a bigger mortgage. It's years of extra work. Is it worth it? Practical resistance starts small. Take your full lunch break, without shame. Turn off work notifications after hours. Say no to optional overtime. Each small act of resistance builds your immunity to the system's programming. Start questioning the language. When someone says unskilled labor, say essential work instead. When they say falling behind, ask behind what? When they say being realistic, ask realistic for whom? Language shapes thought. Change the words, change the thinking. Here's a powerful trick. Create a true value document. Write down what truly mattered to you as a child before the programming took hold. Did you dream of quarterly reports and inbox zero? Or did you dream of creating, exploring, connecting? That's your true north, not the artificial goals implanted by the system. Build resistance communities. Start a book club discussing these ideas. Create group chats where people can vent without judgment. Organize skill shares so people can learn without debt. The system keeps us competing. Break that pattern through collaboration. Most importantly, forgive yourself. If you're realizing you've been living someone else's dream, don't blame yourself. The programming was sophisticated. The pressure was real. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Remember Marx's key insight. The power of the system isn't in its force. It's in its ability to make us think its rules are natural laws. They're not. Every rule, every standard, every must-do was created by someone. And what was created can be uncreated. Want to know what's really at stake here? What happens when enough people wake up? Drop a comment about your own realization moment. When did you first notice the programming? Let's start this conversation together. Because here's the truth. The system only works because we believe in it. The moment we stop believing, stop competing, stop consuming mindlessly, that's when real change begins. Not through grand gestures, but through daily acts of resistance, awareness, and connection. Are you ready to reclaim your mind? Let me conclude this exploration with a powerful truth. It's not the obvious lies that control us. It's the ones we've accepted as truths, the ones we defend, the ones we pass on without questioning. Think about everything we've covered. From the way our desires are manufactured to how our time is commodified. From the hidden costs in our relationships to the programming that starts in childhood. None of this is natural. None of this is inevitable. All of it was created, and all of it can be changed. Now pause for a moment and reflect. What dreams are you chasing right now? That 5-year plan you're so focused on. Whose plan is it really? That lifestyle you're working towards. Did you choose it, or was it chosen for you? Maybe you're thinking about that job you hate but can't leave because it's secure, or that degree you're still paying for but never wanted, or those hours you spend on social media, comparing yourself to lives that don't even exist. This is your wake-up call. Not to throw everything away, but to start questioning everything, to start choosing consciously, to stop letting an invisible system make your choices for you. Some of you might be thinking, but what can I actually do? Start small. Tomorrow, when you feel that urge to check work emails outside hours, pause and question it. When you feel guilty for taking a lunch break, question it. When you judge someone for choosing a less ambitious path, question it. The system thrives on your unconscious participation, your mindless consumption, your unquestioned beliefs, your automatic reactions. The moment you start questioning, you start breaking free. I want you to share your story in the comments. What was the moment you realized you were living someone else's dream? What step will you take today to reclaim your authentic desires? Your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Remember, Marx wasn't just writing about economics. He was writing about freedom, real freedom. Not the freedom to choose between brands, but the freedom to choose who you really want to be. The truth is, the biggest lie isn't about money, or success, or status. The biggest lie is that you can't change it, that this is just how things are, that you're alone in feeling this way. You're not alone, and things can change. They change the moment you stop believing in the lies that have been controlling your life. So what's it going to be? Will you keep running on that programmed treadmill, or are you ready to choose your own path? Share your thoughts below. Let's start this revolution, one awakening at a time.